All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're down here at Queen and Bay in front of the old courthouse, City Hall, and we're here with Dr. Chris Shoemaker. Thanks for joining us today, Dr. Shoemaker.
Hi, Glenn. Nice to be with you.
All right. So, Dr. Shoemaker, you're down here for a special reason. You're going to be on an awareness vigil for 10 days. And can you tell us, first of all, what is your background?
Well, I'm a generalist physician. I'm a fully licensed Ontario doctor. I've been an emergency doctor for 25 years. And in the last 20 years, I've done more hospital medicine and some private practice medicine in the last 20 years. But I was an emerge doc for 25 years.
All right. And what is the reason you're down here today for? And you'll be doing this vigil for 10 days.
Well, it came out of the fact, I have been talking on these topics now for 6 months, including up at the Freedom Rally in Ottawa in the deep cold. But the reason to get very active right now is that Denmark has just announced in the last 7 days that they are cancelling all vaccines for all children under the age of 18. This is huge news. This is huge. Children should never have been getting the vaccines. They were always more dangerous for children, and the proofs are now out. The deaths and damaging vaccine effects for children are so severe that Denmark has chosen to cancel the vaccines in their country as of September 1st. So we're here to ask Canada to do the same, because the children do not succumb to COVID. They are fine. They will be fine. They don't need the shots. And the shots are extremely damaging to the children, especially the youngest. The youngest children from 0 to 8, they are damaging their immune system for life by taking this vaccine. The vaccine damages the T cells, damages the thymus, and it's unbelievable. Dr. Geert van den Bosch and Dr. Paul Alexander have shown us the way on this. They're telling us about the damage to the early innate immune system if younger children under the 9 get this shot. So I'm here for all children. It needs to stop. Thank you.
And so in Denmark, they have restricted all access except for those who get a medical note correct and they're of high risk as of July 1st for the first shot, and then after September 1st they can get the second shot. But in effect, it is basically a restriction, complete restriction.
It is basically a restriction/ban because 99% children will not need it. They won't give it to those 99% of children. And that's an important thing because all children are at risk from the immune damaging aspect of this particular shot. It's toxic to the T cells. It creates antibodies that are useless. The antibodies, everybody's been bragging on it. All the antibodies do is make you less and less able to deal with a variant infection. Now that we're into variant infections, the fact that you have got useless antibodies made for the original infection just makes your whole immune system crap, basically. And that's why vaccinated people, vaccinated children, and vaccinated adults are getting way more COVID themselves, and that the ICUs are now 93% vaccinated folks. But listen, I'm not here to fight folks or put people away from each other. I'm for V and U together, the vaccinated and the unvaccinated together. We have to all realize I've had 2 shots, but I've learned something in the last 4 or 5 months. I'll never have a third. I'll never have a fourth. Because when you look at the real research of Van den Bosch and Alexander and others, all the shots do is toxify you and make you more and more likely to get all kinds of infections, including COVID itself.
Right, and I think you brought up an important point that a lot of people are unaware of with the vaccines. They were originally created for the Wuhan strain, which is now extinct due to the mutations. We're now looking at the Omicron strain. The FDA has said they will give authorization to the new booster shots that are formulated for Omicron, yet they're not going to be looking for any of the scientific data to support that work.
Talk about scientific data. Any of these COVID shots have the same genomic construct in a sense. And the genomic construct and how it's carried, because it's carried in nanoparticles, it means that the 40 trillion mRNA, I guess we just call them bits, the 40 trillion mRNA bits that are carried in, because of the nanoparticles, they can cross into the blood to the brain. They can cross into the placenta. They can cross into the ovaries. So it's damaging your reproductive system at the ovaries, it's damaging your brain, and it's damaging your immune system. Anything that does those 3 things is not a vaccine. It's a toxic agent against you. And 52, down here it says 52 and 5,200%. When the British did their research, and they did it ending in February of 2022, it showed that a non-vaccinated child had its normal low death rate. Children 10 to 14 don't die much. But the children who received the vaccine, the vaccinated group, once they received their second shot, they were 52 times more likely to die in the following 6 months. If you get the shot, according to the British data, your child is 52 times more likely to die in the next 6 months. And in fact, that's been updated. That was the news as of March 1st. As of May 1st, it became 8,200%. You are 82 times more likely to die as a child if you receive this vaccine age 10 to 14. That's the British own data. And let's go back to Denmark now. You think Denmark didn't notice that children were dying 82 times more because they got the vaccine? Denmark has noticed. The flags are here because Denmark's scientists have noticed, and the vaccines are stopping for children. I'm not angry at anybody. I just want the politicians to go where the medical profession has not been willing to go. I want the politicians to do what's right and to not be afraid to stop the vaccines, because the vaccines are junk to us. They're making us 3 and 4 times more likely to get COVID itself. If you had a medicine that made you 3 or 4 times more likely to get the disease the medicine was supposed to help, would you keep taking the medicine? No. So it's time to stop. Denmark has seen it, and we invite Canada, the United States, Belgium, the rest of the world. Please follow suit. I've been a doctor for 45 years. I'm not the most specialized doctor in the world, but I did graduate from medical school when I was 23. So I can follow a point or two. I can smell when something's wrong. This is wrong. Let's save ourselves. Let's take ourselves away from damaging ourselves with these non-vaccines.
What would you say to parents who are thinking about getting the vaccines for their children aged 6 months and up that have been emergency authorized, not actually approved? What would you tell them?
How can that make any sense? Based on what I've just said in a general sense. But 6 months to age 8 in particular is an extremely vulnerable time in your immune system. Your immune system only gets good at what it gets good at if it's not being interfered with inappropriately. And these vaccines are the worst of interfering with your immune system. Other vaccines didn't and don't interfere quite as much, okay? This one is off the charts in terms of how it wrecks your body's ability to become good at immunity. So no one anywhere under 8 or 9 should get these shots. And the evidence for the older children is certainly not good either. 8,200% death rate increase, is that a good thing? If your fuel bill went up 8,200%, would you notice? Well, you might not be noticing that vaccinated children are dying 82 times more than non-vaccinated, but that's the truth. That's why the kids are dropping on the basketball courts. That's why they're dying on their sleep. And we'll be having people down here in the next week talking about the loss of their dear children. And my heart goes out to them. And it's time to do the right thing. And again, thank you, Denmark.
You're going to be on your vigil for 10 days. And how many days will you be here at 60 Queen Street West?
I'll be here at 60 Queen Street West for at least 5 or 6 days. And so the last 3 or 4 days, we might move around somewhat different in the city, or perhaps go to a larger venue as appropriate. But for the moment, people can come and observe our interviews or our flags here at Queen and Bay.
Right, and now is there a website that people can visit to also follow where you're going?
Pretty easily. Police on Guard is our major, sponsor to an extent. It's policeonguard.ca. We'll have all the announcements that pertain to this vigil. Also, mamabears.com, mamabearsproject.com to be correct. I have 14 videos and speeches and information pieces stored at mamabearsproject.com/Dr. Shoemaker. So please feel free to hear more than what I say here. And I say it because I want all our children and our parents of our children to be safe.
Dr. Shoemaker, I think it's a wonderful thing that you're doing, going against this narrative to speak out, risk your reputation.
I'm comfortable with my reputation, and I'm extremely comfortable. The more that the information is coming out lately, everybody who really knows anything, even the people at the top who are refusing to do things about this, they know that this side of the argument is now settled. Danger and ineffective. Dangerous and ineffective. Those are the only 2 words to describe any COVID shot made for any variant forever. There's 2 solutions to this. Everybody, every country, just stop the shots. The shots only make the pandemic perpetuate. Stop them. Take the chance. It's not taking a chance. You're helping us if you stop the shots. Everyone who doesn't take a shot is helping us. And governments allow ivermectin on the shelves of the pharmacies. New Hampshire, anybody can walk in off the street and the pharmacist will give them ivermectin to save them from going past 5 days with COVID symptoms. It's a no-brainer. It works. That medicine was studied for 20 years, specifically studied regarding COVID viruses for 12 years, from 2003 to 2015. It was studied and the research was out. And Fauci and everybody ignored it. Fauci and everybody ignored the fact that it was proven that ivermectin was the cure for any COVID attack if it ever happened. So it's got to change. It was all bullshit is the blunt answer. It was all bullshit that the vaccines were promoted when every medical virologist knew that vaccines would only make a pandemic worse. It was in print. CDC knew it. FDA knew it. And yet they did the opposite what should have been done. Generic treatment early and no vaccines was the correct way to treat this pandemic. I don't know who the people were who were pulling the strings, but they have hurt the humanity. They have killed 30,000 Canadians. They have killed 300,000 Americans by doing the wrong things. And I will not stand to say anything but the simple truth about it all. God bless us all. This is the truth. Thank you to Dr. Alexander and others who have shown us this.
Can you tell us, please, about this sign here that talks about a study from Itajaí, Brazil?
Simply that was one of the earlier studies, and it was a large study of close to 200,000 people that showed that if you took ivermectin on a preventative basis, the chances of dying of COVID was 85% less. I mean, a huge amount less. You were down to a 15% chance likelihood of getting sick, whereas opposed to a 100% chance if you didn't take it. So it just showed in a very, very, very large study how efficient and effective ivermectin was known to be. And that was a human-based study.
Dr. Shoemaker, thanks so much for what you're doing here. Folks, Dr. Shoemaker will be down here at least until September 3rd, and then he will be posting, I believe, on, you said, mamabearsproject.ca, where you'll be venturing to next.
That's mamabearsproject.com, that particular one, .com, mamabearsproject.com. In terms of venturing where next, what do you mean by that exactly, Glenn?
For the final 10 days of your...
Oh, well, the final 3 days could be at a different, larger location in Toronto that we can't specify quite yet. But for now, we're here, Queen and Bay. Please, anyone who wishes to come down and be supportive. Oh, one last very important thing. Doctors, doctors, doctors. There are doctors who believe in exactly what I'm saying. I know there's hundreds and thousands of them, actually. Please come down and join me. Please come arm in arm with me. When I'm interviewed in the next 2 or 3 days, I would love it if 3 or 4 doctors who know this simple truth will come down and join me. If anyone from the opposite point of view wants to come down and make their point, hey, it's a free country. It's a free country. We're supposed to be able to say what we think. But I especially invite any vaccine-injured folks or their relatives and the doctors and nurses who support what I'm saying and who know that it's based on truth. Please come down and be with us anytime over the next 10-day period from noon to 6 p.m. each day.
If somebody would like to get in contact with you before coming down here, how would they do that? Any doctors, vaccine injured?
The point person carrying that is through mamabearsproject.com. You could email to the info email at Mama Bears Project that request.
Thanks so much again for your time, Dr. Shoemaker, and we wish you the best.
Thank you too, Glenn. Cheers. Bye, everybody. Take care of yourselves.